Sleep. This, of course, too, is understood. It doesn't mean that he should not do this at the time that he should be sitting and studying Torah. Mitzvahs. At the time that he'd rather go lie down and force himself to sleep to fulfill his desire for relaxation. This means even at the time when he is tired, he has to sleep, regular sleep. He should not do it for the sake of his own pleasure of going to sleep through the night. He should have kavanah when he's going to sleep to rest up his body, to renew his strength. To get in the morning renewed strength, physically as well as spiritually, so he should be able to learn without a brain that is tired. Some people's brains become very tired very quickly. They strain them for a few minutes of learning, and suddenly he finds his eyes are closing. So a person who does go to sleep should sleep with the intention of strengthening himself. He should be able to sit and learn without his eyes closing. So too, the first mitzvah, the time of having children, that should be done, not understood, not with sinful intentions, physical act of an animal, but should be done for the sake of fulfilling the mitzvah of bringing children to the world. Also, not because he wants to have children to serve him, to take his place, to keep up his name, keep his name in the world, but bring children who shall add to the Evdei Hashem, add to the number of Jews who will be serving Hashem. And this is the true way of life and serving Hashem. Continue this topic to the We started yesterday saying that everything that a person does should be for the sake of Hashem. Even those which are purely physical, those acts should still be for the sake of Hashem. That the ultimate goal, result of these physical acts should turn into a means of serving Hashem. Everything is turned to Hashem. Speaking to speak for the sake of Hashem does not mean only that a person should not speak Lashon Hara, Tzudas, even foul language. It means that even when a person speaks with Menachem, he speaks words of Torah, his kavanah, speaking these words should be to Avodas Hashem, not to use for his own personal goal, his own motives, his own self-gains. Even speaking words of Torah, you should have in mind this is Torah L'Shmo. Shmo means for the sake of Hashem and not for his own self. Especially when a person goes to business, he's occupied in sales transactions. There, usually can have his mind go off on a tangent where his whole kavanah is to amass a fortune. The person wants to become wealthy. So he devotes his time entirely to this project, forgets where he is, what he's doing, what his real mission is in life. If he concentrates on his work he's doing, the job he's doing, the business he's in, it's all for the sake of mitzvahs. He's doing this and he should be able to support his family, give it tzedakah, to raise his children properly, send them to yeshivas. All this is done for the sake of kedusha, and in business, work, he is serving Hashem. So, general rule, this generally means that a person is supposed to concentrate on whatever he does and to carefully weigh every one of his actions. There should be a scale in his mind, in his brain. In this scale, he should weigh every action that he does and to decide when he sees that this is done for the sake of Avodas Hashem, he should do it. If not, he should abstain. A person who conducts himself in this manner, he's actually being Eved Hashem his whole lifetime. Even at the time when he is sitting or standing or walking or business or sleeping, eating, drinking, anything. Whatever he does, he's being Eved Hashem. This is what the Mishnah Pirkei says. Every act you do, all your deeds, you do for the sake of Hashem. This is how we can understand the Gemara studying Shulchan. Rebbe was nostalgic. Time as nostalgic, he raised his hands, his fingers above. Words, the last words were, he said, Hashem, you know, only you know, that I have never had any pleasure from these hands during my whole lifetime. I never did anything in my lifetime for the sake of my own gain, personal gain of pleasure. It was always Hashem. Hashem was only for your sake. This maybe is difficult for any person. No person can really say that his whole lifetime he served Hashem only. It's much easier for a person who is poor to say that. One who has immense wealth has a chance to live in luxury, a chance to enjoy wealth freely. Menachem Mendel was so rich, but far wealthier than the Roman king. Imagine there was no shortage of anything that his heart desired. There was no limit to the multi-millions that he had to spend whatever he wished. He was free to spend for anything at all. His whole lifetime, all these multi-millions, he never spent a cent, one pruta, anything for his own personal gains. Neither his money, nor did he have any enough anywhere else. Never had hanoah from this world. Therefore, as he says, for the Yerushalmi, a person wise, see to it that he would put less into his mouth. Because if he avoids putting in his mouth, which means pleasure, but no, taking pleasure out of this world, he is saving it for the future world. The more pleasure he takes here, the more he's drawing upon as a future account of Hashem. So enjoy this world less, you'll have much more there. This doesn't mean that a person should have complete abstention. Become a hermit and should deprive himself of everything and live a life of torture, as some of the great Tzaddikim in the past did, where they went through not just abstaining from pleasure, but they also indulged in the greatest self-inflicted tortures conceivable. Lying in the snow in the wintertime for hours and so on, fasting. Mendel said all these today are unnecessary. Live well, you can eat well, sleep well, just watch the time. Guard the timing, this time is your life. Make sure that you have this mindedness. This mindedness. So we start the topic of biology. It's taken mainly from the Rambam, who was one of the greatest doctors of all time, who knew the anatomy of the person, the physiology, which is very important when it comes to serving Hashem too, the Vedas Hashem. Of course, since the physical health of a person is important in order to serve Hashem. Why? Because you cannot serve Hashem with the neshama alone. It requires the body too. It requires both. So a person who is sick is incapacitated. They get up with 4 mitzvahs. A person lying in bed cannot go out and do the mitzvahs that he's required to do. Either he is excused because of illness, meanwhile he is not performing the mitzvahs, the chayv lies upon him. Therefore a person should do everything in his power to prevent illness wherever he can, and to strengthen his body physically, just as he does spiritually. You see to it they should not catch colds. Posek says, person should guard his health extremely. Guard his soul. Guard his soul from leaving the body, which means to keep his health in perfect condition, not to do things that can destroy his health or weaken him. Do things that can strengthen his body and make him healthy. How can a person do that? By knowing the functions the body performs. Hashem created a person, and he placed in this person a normal, natural temperature, heat. This heat or temperature is the life of the person. It's called the Yesod of Eish, fire. This fire must constantly burn. If this fire is extinguished, the person's life is terminated. How does a person keep this fire going? Physically, very simply, by feeding it. You feed the body with food, and it keeps the fire going, just as a normal fire is fed wood, logs, anything to nourish the fire. So too, the temperature of a person is maintained through the food that a person feeds the body. This way, he avoids the fire becoming extinguished. The person should die. The food that is given to the body has to go through certain processes. First, it is placed in the mouth, and right in the mouth, between the teeth, that's where the digestive tract begins. Because in the mouth you have glands. Those who studied pre-med, advanced med, know the names of all these glands, these parts of the body. In the mouth you have these salivary glands that produce juices which convert the different parts of the food to words that can be more easily digested, more easily circulated through the body. And after these salivary glands do their processing, the food goes from there to of course the food is ground up naturally, so it can be digested more easily. There it goes to the stomach, and there too it continues the grinding process. There are gastric acids that work on the food, different types of juices, gastric juices, stomach acids, that continually work on converting this food into a form that can then be distributed into the proper channels. There you have the good part of the food, the one that serves to feed the body, distributed, goes into the circulatory system, and it's brought to every part of the body that needs this nourishment. The part that cannot be digested, the waste matter is sent outward and expelled from the body. This is one of the many wonders of creation. That's why we say every day the bracha Shiyotzav, we finish the bracha with Bavly Lases. Bavly means Hashem performed wonders, in that Hashem gave into the power of the person, the human form, the human body, the power to select. You have food, some of it is good, worthwhile, some of it is waste. Power within the person to select the good, and then each and every organ of the body should draw to it the necessary part of that food. And that the waste matter is automatically expelled. A person will start to think, he marvels the wonders of this type of organism, this creation. Therefore, because of this, the vast majority of illnesses that are caused because of food. Either because the food is improper, spoiled, or because of too much food. A person places too much logs on the fire can go out too. A person places wet logs, the wrong type of stuff on the fire, and too can be extinguished. or spoiled or made into smoky fire, which means an unhealthy type of fire, so too, if a person's digestive tract is working properly, then a person is healthy. If his digestion is spoiled, chas v'shalom, then a lot of different illnesses come, they reach a point of dangerous health. Therefore, a person should see to it to eat properly what is healthy in the proper amounts. We've had now a lesson in physiology. Next year we'll have a lesson in nutrition. Nutrition to discuss what is best for a person to eat and so forth. And of course, as known, where one of the great tzaddikim said that what a pity it is that people are so worried about nutrition. They're worried so much about what they put into their mouth, they're so careful with it, and what comes out of their mouth they're so careless with. Speaking Lashon Hara, and so forth, they let it come out without even being so selective. A person be just as selective and more so for what comes out than what goes in. Because those two are closely combined. The Ruchnius and the Gashmius. That's why we always say, we should be zechet to the Fuas HaNefesh and the Fuas HaGuf, to be Evdei Hashem, the Emes, Yahweh, B'yidam, L'Ev Hasholim. That will be zechet to see the B'yas Mashiach, Yerushalmi.
Then, Mr.
We're speaking about the physical health of a person, physiology, and we're speaking about the first rule is digestive tract, because the tie, the connection between the guf and the neshama, the body and the soul, is the food. That the intake of the body of food is what sustains the soul in the body. A person would fast, eventually die. So therefore, since this gives the body strength to be able to serve Hashem, a person must be careful to see to watch his digestive system, not to eat things that can harm him, and to retain his health. Now, we say that speaking about the nutritious value, the best key to perfect digestion is to guard oneself against overeating. That's the first, most important rule. And also that the food should be simple and easy to digest. Because if a person eats a lot, when the stomach is full, then the stomach becomes so laden that it becomes very difficult for the stomach to digest the food. The stomach, in order to digest the food, requires the spasmodic action, contraction, expansion. When it's too full, the stomach cannot move about freely, as is necessary by its nature. You cannot grind the food properly, same as a fire. If you place too much wood on the fire, it cannot burn well. So too the food in the stomach. Therefore, a person who wants to really guard to watch his health properly should see to it he should not eat more than the average amount according to his nature. Not too little, and not too full. A person should not eat until he's full. That word full should never be used for eating. Most sicknesses, illnesses that come to a person come only because of either eating bad food or because he overfilled his stomach, he ate too much, even from good and healthy food. Overeating good and healthy food, in fact, is worse. Shlomo Melech says in his Chachma, his wisdom, he who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul against troubles. What does it say, mouth and tongue? He guards his mouth, permitting any bad food to enter. Bad food means food that's unhealthy, or too much of any food. He guards his mouth, the entrance to the stomach, from taking in, allowing the intake of too much food. And he guards his tongue from speaking anything that is wrong. This is why the wise say that there are certain types of food that are harmful. Actually, food that can harm a person. The fact, it is better for a person to eat a little bit of a harmful food, much healthier than eating a lot of healthy food. For the sake of a person's health, he should see to it, above all, not to overeat. This too is dependent upon the age of the person. The person is young, same as in any other organs of the body, as long as the body is still strong and healthy, functions properly, heals properly. Therefore, the food he eats should be more quantity than the person who reaches middle age. The person who reaches old age should surely see to it to eat still less food, to eat food that is very light, bland diet, and it should be very little in quantity and as good as possible in quality. Proteins, so forth, the so-called vitamins, whatever they are. Also, dependent upon the seasons of the year. The hot season is summertime. Because of the heat, the power of the digestive system becomes weakened, lessened. So therefore, it is only right, only proper, that a person should eat less during the summers, at least lighter meals during the summer than he does in the winter. Lighter meals means he eats ice cream instead of. Now, what's meant by lighter meals? How much less should he eat? The wise ones, Aharon, they praise that it should be just about the correct ratio is 3 to 2. Meaning, ratio 3 to 2 means that you're supposed to eat 2/3 of the amount, 66.67% in the summertime of what you eat in the wintertime. 1/3 less. That's the proper amount to maintain the balance, the right balance in the digestive system. And with this, a person can remain healthy if he does tshuva. Zechet to force nefesh and force aguf. Zechet to the Evdei Hashem, the emes of Olei Shalom, the Mashiach. We are still on the topic of good health. How a person should maintain his health, guard his health. The importance of health is, of course, that the good, healthy body could serve the soul. If the body is ill, the soul cannot be served. We're on the topic of nutrition, food with nutritional value, and how to guard against internal ailments. The general rule, a person should always see to it that before he sits down to eat a regular meal, he should first do some exercise. Exercise by taking a walk, a long walk if possible, or by general exercise until his body becomes a little warmed up, to increase the heat, the natural normal heat of the body, because this will help to digest the food. Also, it is most important that he unbuckle his belt before eating, in addition to relieve the pressure of the stomach, to allow the stomach to receive the food and to digest it. This, the Gemara says, is very vital. The portion say that there's a lot of it, the Muslim hints to this. I've got to read it says, Ekcha pas lechem, so the first Rosh of Ekcha is backwards. Aleph Kuf Ches Hey backwards. Hey Ches Kuf Aleph. Hater Chagula Koidem Achila. Open the belt before eating. Pas lechem, forward. Pas lechem. Head Tavei Lidei Chayli B'Yayin. Lest you come to stomach illness. Make sure that you open your belt. After eating, though, while eating, of course, he should sit in one place. He should not move around. You're not supposed to eat while you stand, because then the food goes down to your toes. You're supposed to eat while sitting. This brings that two rules. One, you're not allowed to bench while you stand. Yachalta, v'savata, u'merachta. We have the word v'savata in the middle. Yachalta, you should eat. The end of merachta, you should bench. Then you have the word v'savata. What does v'savata mean? So, hey, what's v'savata? That's not the one we want. Not today. What are we driving at? Huh? What means should be filled? Filled, sorry. So, the Gemara says, look at how great the Jews are that when they are not filled, satisfied, as Zev says, not fully satisfied, filled up, they still bench. It shows the greatness of the Jews and the tactic upon themselves to bench. Zev Kodesh goes into a different line of thought. Zev Kodesh says the whole concept of that posek is difficult. How can you say that a good Jew would, you say, you say that Jews are so good because even if they're not filled, they will still bench. How can you take that to phrase? The Jews say he won't bench Hashem until he's very completely filled. Where does that possibility come in? Very Kodesh gives a beautiful answer on that. We have no time for now. The Tesis says, go back to Tesis. I got it. Very Kodesh says, you go back to the Zayir Kodesh, you go back up front to the Zayir Kodesh, and the Achalta, the Savato, Merachta, Very Kodesh says, we're not speaking about people who have big appetites, who want to gorge themselves, the Savato, thinking about those who really perform the mitzvah right. The Achalta, the Savato, Merachta means they're truly to be filled. Who? A tzadik. Tzadik Echel Seva Nafshay. What's meant by this savata? This savata. When you are filled. When is a tzaddik filled? Eats a little drop, is already satisfied. The Seva Nafshay. And then he benches with his whole heart. Very deep. Pesach says that the savata of these is two words. This sav at. Spelled Vav, Shin Beis, very tough. The shave, ace, uberachta. The achalta, the shave and sit, ace, the term, uberachta that you bench. So this can be taken both ways. The achalta, the savata, and then the uberachta. The achalta, the savata, uberachta, which means you should eat and sit at the time that you eat, or eat and sit at the time that you bench. Or both. This can go with Freya or Lahaba. Go back or forward, which means that when you eat, you should sit, not stand, and surely not walk around when you eat. That's very bad to not walk around outside. The Gemara says the person who walks outside and eats is like a dog. Resembles as close to a dog because that's what a dog does if you ever shouldn't see them. Plus, other things that the Gemara says not good about walking around outside like these. Well, again, they can walk outside chewing gum, chewing their cud, licking ice cream, walking in the street, eating. These are all items that are not too proper. You recall we had the Gemara that in order to answer for those who did, we said we have loopholes for them. In case you see such things, in case you want to do it, then we have a loophole for you. Especially great. So we said that a person should sit when he eats and when he benches, and after eating, you're not supposed to jump up right away. A person is not allowed to get up out of it, because if he does, it is so unhealthy. A person finishes, he jumps up, fast bite, and runs. You're supposed to sit there for a few moments to let the food go down a little, to let the food settle. The Gemara says, very, very dangerous, extremely hazardous for a person to get up immediately after eating, or for a person to go to sleep immediately after eating. It's must allow time. You finish eating, you lie down immediately, the food goes up in vapors of the food. Food is being digested, there are vapors, heat, like cooking. The vapors go up to the mind, to the brain, and if there is one, then it's very dangerous, because this could really do harm. These are just like smoke going up to becloud the brain. As a show, therefore, this could do damage, so a person should be very careful not to get up too quickly, not to go to sleep immediately, and not to go bathing immediately after eating. You must rest in between. Now this, therefore, the din says, heard him say that fortunately we have the Bekas HaMazon, benching. The person will bench properly, slowly, word by word. You gotta wait anyhow that much time without getting up, so bench slowly, and you'll have the proper amount of time it takes before you're allowed to get up after eating. Which is a good idea anyhow, because benching is the most important bracha that exists. More important than any other brachas that we have is the bracha of Bekas HaMazon. It's the one bracha, one of the two brachas that's been atayna. Bekas HaTayna and Bekas HaMazon. We should be zeichet to fulfill these mitzvahs properly, the emes, to the kasher, the ruchnius, to the gastrius. Nutritional value, best food is that food which is lightest. Besides it being much more easier to digest, therefore a person, if he has a choice between two types of food, should always eat the food that is lighter. For example, wheat is healthy, but the flour then is very white, pure flour, very delicate kind. It's made for those people who are spoiled. And it's not really that healthy. A rougher type of flour, not the pure cellulose, is healthier physically. As far as meat is concerned, best meat is that which comes from lambs, goats, and that which comes from small goats, that which comes from old cows, old oxen, old goats, that bore old cheese that's bad, heavy, and it's difficult to digest. And fowl, birds, is much easier to digest than animal meat. The best of birds is the chicken. However, as a general rule, it supersedes all we said. It is a fact that if a person gets used to any kind of food, no matter what it is, either roughest type of food, and perhaps even the least healthy, the general rule is that Hergel doesn't tell. Habit and custom becomes nature. So one person can eat the worst type of food, and he's got an iron constitution, doesn't bother him. The second person eats the cleanest, the purest food, and he gets indigestion because of a slight drop of videos that fell into it, or slightly off. The matter of becoming accustomed to food, and then be able to digest it. However, a person could avoid that which is not healthy, stay on the healthy side. There are certain foods that are forbidden not because of health, other reasons. For example, the Gemara says a person should not eat the heart of an animal. We eat, for example, the liver, but not the heart. And in the day of the Shach adds, namely the Tashbats, also you should not eat the heart of bird. Chicken also. The reason for this, the Gemara says, is that this is something which will cause the person to forget that which he learned. Brings shukha. So, the trouble with this is that a person has certain things in his mind that he amassed, he accumulated, that's bad. He cannot get rid of eating a heart of an animal. Because this eating the heart of an animal makes a person forget only the good things. That's why this becomes an Isur. It's actually forbidden to eat this item. The best time for eating is when a person is hungry. not when he is full, because eating on a full stomach, the Gemara says, is like overheating an oven. Now, there are two kinds of hunger. A person should differentiate between the two. One is the hunger because the stomach becomes empty. This is actually hunger. The other is a type of appetite. Has to do to because his appetite is wet. He sees food which he likes. Even though he is already filled, or partially filled, practically filled enough, he sees food which he has a desire for, suddenly he's filled with this appetite, and this appetite is not really a hunger. General rule, a person should eat 2 good meals a day, which should be, breakfast should be one of them, hashachas, and the other one should be, depending upon what type of work he does, either the lunch should be a heavy meal, meat meal, or the supper. One of the two, but that should be sufficient. 2 good meals, one very light break, and if, as a person gets older, it is best that he does not eat any heavy meals. Better to eat 4 or 5 times a day, very light snacks, rather than to eat heavy meals, because in case of a person who's older, the plumbing and the machinery internally become much weakened, and there's no way to replace it. You can't trade it in. You have to live with what you have. Therefore, to guard that mechanism that still exists. So treat it very delicately. Don't make it overwork by giving it too much at a time. Too big a meal is not healthy. A person who's older should eat much less, but more often. The average time that a person should take between meals is 6 hours, but that's how long it takes to digest one's food. And of course, this we see finished with the Rambam, who brings the time between milk and meat and milk. Meat and milk is 6 hours of time of digestion. The Lady Kodesh, of course, is a different version that, but this proves though that the time for equal digesting one's food completely is 6 hours. Therefore, a person should try to keep these meals that far apart. It is also good to give the stomach a rest, once a week at least. By giving it a rest, it doesn't overwork, renews its strength. In a sense, it's time to, as advisor to do that, the Kitzur says the best time to give it a rest would be on Friday, since it's best then to enter into Shabbos with an appetite. So the meal on Friday afternoon should be the one that is skipped. It gives us the rest, plus it helps to eat the Shabbos meal together with appetite. And it's important though to point out, we can't of course say anything about the Kitzur's psak. This is the Kitzur's own psak, he said.